soul to find out what kind of person you really, really are. Because this is not a matter of posing and posturing. All of us have to pay a price and bear a burden. And I simply say to you, I am who I am because somebody loved me. I come from the chocolate side of Sacramento, California. I come out of Irene and Clifton West. I come out of Shiloh Baptist Church. I come from the legacy of the Black Panther Party. I come from all of those who have sacrificed so much. Where's my brother Imam? Where's my brother? There he is. You see this brother right here? He is a student and the pupil of the brother we knew as H.Jack Brown, but his name is Iman Jamil Abdullah Al-Hamid. He's still incarcerated right now. Let us never ever forget what he had to go through, passing it on to the younger generation. Give it up to this brother. Same is true for my dear brother, Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. He's a titan, he's a giant, and he's still dealing with what it means to come to terms with a revolutionary Christianity handed over to you by Fannie Lou Hamer and Martin Luther King Jr. and James Lawson and a whole. Get it up for my brother, Frederick Douglass Haynes III. Why is that important? You see, when you're talking about solidarity, you're not talking about something abstract. You're talking about something as real as a heart attack. So when we're in solidarity with our precious Palestinian children, we just got to be silent when we say that. How sick, how pathological do you have to be to see that happening to children? And you can't straighten your back up and even say the word ceasefire. You can't straighten your back up and call for an end to the siege. You can't straighten your back up and call for the end of occupation. You can't straighten your back up and call for the end of apartheid. There is a level of spiritual decay in the American empire that we're dealing with every day.
That's right.
And I say to Biden, you a war criminal. That's what you are. You don't enable that kind of genocide and suck on your ice cream and say maybe a political move in order to get some votes means I might talk. No.
Yeah.
If you're feeling it, if you ain't feeling it, then you're just another politician bought off by all of this big power and big money. I say the same thing to Harris. I say the same thing to Blinken. I say the same thing to Austin. I say the same thing to Greenfield. All of them are enablers of genocide, enablers of ethnic cleansing. And you say, oh, Brother West, when you talk that way, it sounds like your heart is full of hatred. But let me tell you something about this Jesus-loving free black man that I am. Oh yes, I follow Jesus into the temple and write out the money changers. You can't be on Pontius Pilate's payroll and think you're following justice and Jesus. You got to be free. You got to be free. So I don't speak out of a hatred of anybody. I speak out of an intense hatred of occupation, of domination, of injustice, any form of structure of domination that's subjugating anybody. And we've got to be very honest about this. Why is this so? Because we own indigenous people's land. Genocide. You wouldn't have a country if it wasn't for my great-great-great-great-grandmama and granddaddy who slave labor constituted the pillar of your so-called democracy. You wouldn't have families if it wasn't for women who had to put up with the patriarchal stuff of all the too many men to sustain the country. You wouldn't have a capitalism if you didn't have workers. You exploited them. You demonized them. You subjugated them. But they helped build your country, and those are workers of all color. So we're talking about empire imperialism. We're talking about predatory capitalism. But at the center of it is a deep white supremacy and a male supremacy that we must point out. I go even further. Homophobia and the transphobia, I have no patience for. Oh, such love to flow so deep and so broad that it embraces all of us, but we don't lose sight of the American empire, which, as Martin King said over 50 years ago, is still the major purveyor of violence in the world. So if you're going to talk about terrorism, start with the IDF. If you're going to talk about terrorism, start with American troops. Now, I believe anytime you kill an innocent person, that my heart bleeds. That's where I come from. That's what I learned at Shiloh Baptist Church. And some of my brothers will say, oh, Brother West, you concerned with everybody, you ought to give up on that love stuff. It's just about power. I say, let me tell you something. Yes, it's about power, structural, institutional, but I come from a people who got spiritual power, morals power, organizing power, mobilizing power, and we're going to hold up a bloodstained banner for the humanity of each and every one of us, even as we stay in contact with the vicious forms of empire and capitalism and white supremacy. And there will never, ever, ever be the kind of spiritual awakening and political renaissance in which poor and working people are at the center of our vision unless we come together in solidarity with genuine coalition that acknowledges the connection between those of us who've been wrestling with terror and hatred and trauma for 400 years like black folk. 600 years worth like indigenous folk. And then make a connection with that protectorate, that satellite country, Israel, which is an extension of the American imperial network. And we know we got some beautiful Jewish brothers and sisters like If Not Now and Jewish Voices for Peace who make a moral choice, who make a political choice, and say, I'm in solidarity with you because I believe in the morality of it. That's the crucial challenge that we have. And so when I look at each and every one of you, oh, I got a smile on my face. Yes, indeed. Because it means to give up all the lies and try to hide all the crimes. We have not allowed those lies and crimes to have the last word. We're going to stand up and keep swinging and keep fighting and keep laughing and keep loving and keep organizing on the ground. And sooner, more than later, there's going to be a free Palestine where all of the Palestinian brothers and sisters can live a life that flower and flourish. Oh yeah. And that free Palestine for me, this is my personal view, is one in which all of those in that new state, no matter who they are, the safety and security for everybody there, Jewish, Palestinian, equal rights before the law, equal access to resources. Yes, indeed. Let us be clear that all the talk about a two-state solution at this point is too late. It's too late. We don't want our Palestinian brothers and sisters to be confined to some kind of little truncated entity where you still got supremacy of Israeli power. No, the two-state solution is played out. You either have an apartheid state, which you have right now, or you're going to have a state in which persons across the board, Jewish, Israeli, Palestinian, anybody who wants to come, will have equal rights and equal protection with dignity. We're not going to fall for this country, and we're connected to the struggles against American imperialism around the world. Around the world. Indeed. And so believe me, this campaign ain't nothing but a moment in a movie. Not about the candidate. It's not about the campaign. Emma Goldman used to say, if people could vote themselves through revolution, they'd make voting illegal. And she's right, because we're dealing with gangsters. We're dealing with cowards. We're dealing with folk whose conscience is so coarse and whose hearts are so hardened, who are so indifferent toward the invulnerable. And the great Rabbi Heschel used to say, indifference to evil is more insidious than evil itself. And we got to shatter that indifference. Touch that deep common humanity that's all the way down beneath all of the layers of the lies and the crimes. And some of us will be faithful unto death. This is just the beginning. This is just the first stage. Let us stay together. Let us work together. God bless.